Many people will believe that Trump is attacking Iran because he wants to help Israel. No. First, you had Venezuela selling oil in RMB to China. But Iran is now selling oil to China using RMB. That is a significant existential threat to the US economy. For Trump to move into Iran, they can do that easily, but there's a problem. That problem is called democracy. Iran is believing that midterm election is coming up in November. That was the problem of Britain. They had the intelligence, but they didn't have leadership with vision. Hello everybody, my name is Dr. Caesar Osaheni Iyayi. I am your advocate for the industrial development of Africa, industrial manufacturing of Africa, for the industrial development that will begin from Nigeria. Today I want to address vision, the role of vision in leadership. You see, the United States has attacked Iran. Why do you think Trump is attacking Iran? Many people will believe that Trump is attacking Iran because he wants to help Israel. No. Some people will believe the way Trump will say that they have nuclear weapons there, they are about to make nuclear weapons. That is probably true. But that is not the main reason why the US is attacking Iran. The primary reason why Trump decided to attack Iran is because there was a failure of leadership in terms of vision, starting from the time of Bill Clinton, Obama, Biden, even starting from the time of Jimmy Carter. The US is the only country in the world that can print money and not have inflation, because international trade is being conducted based on the US dollars. So suddenly, that dominance is being threatened. First, you had Venezuela selling oil in RMB to China. Trump knew that if that should continue, America will eventually lose its ability to remain the dominant economic force that can produce dollar, print dollar without consequences. So Trump sent troops to Venezuela to seize the president, and now China cannot buy oil from Venezuela using RMB. Everything is now done in dollar. The next country that was threatening them, although other countries have participated like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, but just a fraction, just to show to their people that they are adhering to some measure of independence. The truth is that Saudi Arabia, the monarchy of Saudi Arabia, was guaranteed that they will rule forever if they sell their oil in US dollars. And they have been doing that for many generations. But Iran is now selling oil to China using RMB, the Chinese currency called the Yuan. That is a significant existential threat to the US economy. Jimmy Carter didn't have that vision. Clinton didn't have the vision. Obama didn't have the vision. Biden didn't have the vision. But Trump, he is aware that if that continues, before you know it, 2-3 other countries will join it. America will lose that capacity to dominate the international economy in the world. And that, for a country that has a leader that has a vision, is a significant, sufficient reason for him to do something about it urgently. Now, what is the problem that Trump is facing? They have destroyed the Iranian Navy, they have destroyed their Air Force, they have destroyed most of the artillery and all that. Unfortunately, we don't have drones. You can have drones made $2,000 drones, you can have drones of $20,000 that can cause significant damage. You don't have speedboats that can cause significant damage. So although they have wiped out their Navy, they have wiped out their Air Force, all their batteries for anti-aircraft destroyed. They have done all that, but they still have a problem. It is easy for Trump to move into Iran, move into that Suez Canal, that zone where they have rocket launchers with a speedboat in a tunnel. They can do that easily, but there's a problem. That problem is called democracy. Russia has been in Ukraine now for over 4 years. Because there's no democracy there, Putin can continue to maintain pressure on Ukraine. Because from the interpretation of Putin, Ukraine, if it joins NATO, is an existential threat to the survival of Russia. So as far as it's concerned, from a patriotic point of view, he must do anything possible to ensure that Ukraine doesn't remain with Europe. They must conquer Ukraine. If they had continued with their so-called democracy, by now, if they were genuine democracy in Russia, by now, they would have voted Putin out of office. So what is the trouble now with Trump? And what is Iran counting on? Iran is believing that midterm election is coming up in November. And if the Strait of Hormuz, not that it's closed though, but any ship that is passing through there, you can fire only one rocket into it. It's carrying crude oil to explode. So that fear is what is closing the Strait of Hormuz. Iran is aware of that. Iran is not a democracy. You can destroy half of Iran and the government will still remain. But people that are supporting Trump, the Republicans, those in the House, those in the Senate, some in the governorship, some of them are due for election in November. And Iran is aware of that. So they say, okay, we can keep enough pressure. Trump will eventually capitulate. And that will not be in the interest of the US. That is why I said democracy is the worst form of government. Socrates, 399 years before Jesus Christ, he said democracy is to be practiced by those that are learned, that are educated, that are well informed, people that are patriotic. Those are the people that are supposed to practice democracy. But if it is left for everybody, people that are unpatriotic, people that do not really value America, a lot of people are in America as naturalized citizens and they can vote. They don't care about America. A lot of people that are Democrats, they don't care about the future of America because they don't understand it. They do not understand that America is dominant today because American dollar is the international currency of the world. They have no idea about that. So for them, they are waiting for November so they can vote Republicans out of office. Iran is aware of that. And that is what is going to lead to the destruction of America as the world's economic superpower. Let me tell you something. The mistake that is going to happen now, this lack of vision. Trump has the vision, but democracy will not allow him to put it into practice. Otherwise, if America were to send troops into Iran, they have destroyed their air force, they have destroyed their navy, they have destroyed their anti-aircraft batteries. They send troops in there. In 2 months, the Iranian government would collapse completely. And they will be able to continue to sell all oil in dollars. And America will continue to remain great. But what is going to happen now is that Trump will eventually have to capitulate because America is not a dictator. It's not an authoritarian government. The people there, although they don't know what they are voting for, they don't care about the future of America. They don't even understand what the future of America ought to look like. If it was China that has this advantage that America is having now, they will never give it up. Right now, they are going to put pressure on Trump because of democracy. And if Iran is going to be able to continue to sell oil in RMB, other countries will eventually join. And when Trump leaves office, it is likely that the Democrats are going to win. They have no clue. They are clueless. That will be the beginning of the end of American dominance in the world economic geopolitics. So let me tell you the mistake that Britain made. Britain, before America, ruled the world for about 300 or 400 years. They dominated the world. If you look at Britain, the landmass of Britain is 120,000 square kilometers. That is a fraction of Nigerian landmass. Nigerian landmass is 900 and something thousand square kilometers. Compare that to 120,000 square kilometers. And they rule the world. Okay, let's add Scotland and Wales. We will bring it to the United Kingdom. We will bring it to 230,000 square kilometers. Still a fraction of the size of Nigeria. But they rule the world. Britain gave us Isaac Newton, the man that discovered cyber-optic, the man that discovered calculus, the man that discovered laws of physics. Britain gave us the jet engine. They gave us antibiotics. They are at the forefront of science and technology. They gave us industrial revolution. They led the world in everything. But they had one problem. Their leaders didn't have the vision to know that Britain, with a land mass, Britain and Scotland and all that, all put together, United Kingdom. Either you say Britain, 120,000 square kilometers, or United Kingdom, 230,000 square kilometers, is an infinitesimal landmass to rule the world. They needed somebody who had a vision that could say, oh, we have been sending our merchants to America. They have a large landmass there. Why can't we carry our king to North America? Canada is 9,800,000 square kilometers. America is 9,600,000 square kilometers. You put that together, it will be the largest country in the world. They had the military power to do it. They could have just carried their king to North America and call it New Britain. They would have still remained the greatest country in the world today. But there was no leader with vision. Because they didn't have a leader with vision, the resources from that small island of 120,000 square kilometers or 230,000 square kilometers is not sufficient to be able to generate the critical mass in terms of land mass, raw material, and population to dominate the world. That was the problem of Britain. They had the intelligence, but they didn't have leadership with vision. They could have carried their king to North America, take over Canada and the USA, because they had the military might, and they will still be the greatest country in the world today. They failed, and America is going to fail now because of democracy. In Africa, we have huge land mass. We have huge population, but no vision. And that is what I'm talking about.